Welcome to week number 33 of the BEBC Podcast. And for the second week in a row, we're running short.
We're light.
You know, I feel like we've had player suspensions happen or something. The grades came out this week.
Feeling skinny, Tony. Well, you know, if the government didn't force Thad to print so much money,
I'm telling you, man, 2 weeks in a row he's had to work. You know, and that's tough on the poor guy because he wants to stay for the whole game, but he gets up at what, 3:30?
Oh, yeah,
way too early.
You know, to go out and print your money for you folks. So next time you see Thad, thank him for his service.
Yeah,
to line your pocketbook.
Pop out a new 20 and say thank you.
For those of us who still carry cash. Everybody still carry cash?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I know a lot of people don't.
Small bills.
Got that debit card, and that's all they got. They don't want any cash.
Yeah.
You still pick up pennies when you see them on the ground?
Oh yeah.
No.
David's like no. Nolan?
No. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Because you know, there's always that camera somebody's watching because they've glued it to the concrete. And you look like an idiot trying to pick it up.
Fear of being on a
yeah, but when that's the case, I just start scratching the ankle, and then
yeah, that's good. But no, I had a guy tell me once, if you got too much money, if you're not stopping and picking up money you see on the ground, you know. So I stop and pick it up.
Leave it for a needy person.
Go with fate.
Yeah.
And our flyboy Alan is
poor
catching
Alan.
some Z's in bed.
He flew
Tokyo
this week, and he flew on.
that's no excuse.
He left Wednesday.
So that's the way this podcast is going to go, huh?
Yeah.
We're gonna be brutal on everybody. Okay.
Y'all are brutal on me when I'm not here.
Oh,
yeah,
give me a
well,
break.
but you're the poster child of getting
Where's that
picked
crybaby face?
Yeah,
Yeah, where's our crybaby fan?
But Alan's
We love
schedule,
that.
he flies to Tokyo, and I don't know how long of a flight that is, but he left on Wednesday, and he gets there, and it's Thursday afternoing.
Yep.
And then they turn around and they leave Friday
International
morning.
And then he comes back
He
Friday.
comes back. Well, when they came back Friday, or I guess they left Thursday, and they came back, and they had a medical emergency.
Had to land in Salt Lake City.
He had to land at Salt Lake, and what it did, he usually sleeps on the plane. He gets some hours to sleep, and he said it was, with all that going on, he didn't get his sleep time, and he'd been sick in Tokyo.
Running on a sinus infection.
He was hurting when he got here. Then last night at the game, man, I was looking at him. He's just like zombie. You know, the game kind of did that to him too. But so he may or may not call in when he wakes up. But get well, because he's got to fly to London this afternoon. So, dude, I'm telling you, that Tokyo trip must be tough. I mean, you're crossing the international date line.
And then you got to be nice to everybody on the flight.
Well, yeah,
Jeez.
people like us.
I would
dealing with
never, ever be able to do that job.
No. Yeah, you're not even nice to us, and we're your friends.
Hey, maybe you could get us on a flight and we can do that. That
For
works
tips,
pretty good,
sir.
Yeah.
For tips,
Sir. Keep ringing that bell.
You ring that bell one more time.
You're gonna be wearing it.
Yeah, so the first quarter of the game was like NyQuil to him.
Yeah,
it
put
him
him
out.
right to sleep. Well, we got our
Put a lot of people to sleep.
we got our first look. Let's start today with the new McKinney ISD stadium. They don't have a corporate. It's just McKinney ISD
No,
stadium,
just
right?
McKinney ISD.
No sponsors yet,
Well, no,
do they? Well, they got
not
their
stadium
little
name.
sponsors,
Yeah,
right?
because
they're
there were
sponsors.
trucks and cars and all
Right.
sorts of
Well,
stuff.
we don't have a memorial stadium, that type of thing.
No.
3 schools in there, so.
First thing that I noticed, and I think Nolan noticed it too. Well, maybe not the first thing, but the first thing I was like, "Whoa!" was the logos in the end zone.
Really
And
sharp.
it's
That was
raised
sharp.
up. It's like Plano Stadium, except it's raised up and it's higher and
No,
and
it's more like, it's actually more like, it really looks like
well, the
cave.
stadium is, but just that aspect of it.
But
Really cool. Really, I
Yeah.
guess that was artificial. All that.
Yeah, that was artificial.
But
It
it was really bright.
really nice. I mean, it very clean. It looked very clean. And,
Yep.
and
Well,
then
just
that
to
big-
give a descriptor of the stadium, 12,000 people. It seems to be somewhat even on both sides, 6,000,
It is.
6,000. So it's going to be great for sub 6A playoff games.
Yeah.
That should go well.
a little tight.
Yeah, there were some criticisms about concessions, whatever, but bottom line is it works for them.
Yeah,
There were some people we talked to that weren't real happy, said it was the worst investment, but then people were saying that about the Allen Stadium, so you're always going to have your detractors.
Anytime you spend taxpayers' money, someone's not going to like it.
Yeah.
So, heck, I'm
Yeah,
paying
well-
for that stadium right here, right now. So,
Yeah. I mean, it was built for them. It wasn't built for us.
No.
We have our own stadium.
It would. I will say, and I told y'all this last night, and I told you this morning at breakfast. The one thing I will say about it is we had the front row of the upper deck, and I'm only 5'9". I'm not a big guy. I don't know how you did it, but the cup holder, they put cup holders on the concrete wall in front of you, but they didn't put them.
They were they
were the same distance apart, but they
didn't matter where they,
Yeah. And so my seat, when I sat there, my left knee banged that cup holder all night long. What do you do?
But mine,
it's very uncomfortable.
But mine was right in the middle of my seat.
Yeah, and yours was fine, but they just did them. I don't know how.
Mine was the same way. Mine was fine.
Yeah, but there you go down 3 or 4 seats and you have what I had.
Right.
But now they are great though because they have little tabs on them. You could set your phone right there and the phone doesn't fall off. That was cool.
Or as your wife showed, you strap their purse handles around it.
They have multi-purpose, but
yes.
Some of them are right in the
positives and negatives, and it wasn't the absolute best experience. But nice stadium. Sight lines are really nice.
Except on that front row.
Yeah, you use that cup holders.
So for me, I'm a little bit taller than you, so I mean, it was okay for me.
We learned not to sit on that row.
I still had to lean over to see.
we could not see. We could see the tops of the players'
You sit back,
heads.
you can't.
Oh, you couldn't see the sidelines. Yeah.
No, you have to lean over to see the sidelines if you want to see anybody. But that, hey,
it's a lot of concrete
compared to Ron Poe.
Oh. Yeah,
good job.
And
it was great.
For those of us who got there early, parking was great.
Right.
I heard there were some issues later as closer to game time where the visitor side filled up, which, hey, people don't come at 6:45 looking for a spot, you know, and so you got to park on the other side and walk over. That's
for all you people that got tickets and
maybe
got towed away.
Come early and tailgate.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Well, and the setup they had was kind of nice because they did have some reserved tailgate spots for people that
knew to call in.
It's an interesting thing for those of you that don't know, and I found out this week, late in the week, that if they have 2 areas on each side of the stadium for reserve tailgating. Now, you can tailgate. They have other designated spots for tailgating, the non-reserve, but they have, I don't know, what is it, 20 parking spots maybe?
Yeah, something like that, 20.
That you can reserve, but you have to get in your reservation by Wednesday at noon. And
well, we may do.
We may do, and we kind of...
We may do.
In 2 weeks we don't play there, but let's go ahead and reserve all those spots.
David, that's pretty funny. Yeah, just reserve all the spots for the rest of the year.
Dear McKinney, sorry.
Yeah, we'll just put our cones up and go on our way. But no, it's a good idea, and they're trying to get people to come out and tailgate, and if you
it's
want,
new to them. And we'll talk about that
what
later.
What a concept, a designated tailgate area.
It's not a bad idea.
Huh? Wouldn't that fit?
I found it interesting. Now, and again, we will talk about it later. We talked to some clubs later, and the one I asked the lady, said, "Y'all called in and reserved?" She goes, "Yeah, but we reserved it for the whole year."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, that's kind of weird that they let them do
would let them
the
do
whole
that.
year at the beginning of the year, so they have that spot every week." So I was like, interesting, which is kind of cool, I guess, if you can get away with it. But.
Well, and if you're an official club, maybe they'll let you do that.
That could be.
Yeah, and it fills the space up.
It's guaranteed to be filled.
Guaranteed to be filled up
every week. So anyhow, that was the stadium. Love the scoreboard. Love the fact that on the LED across the facade of the upper deck, they show the stats.
Yes.
Scores and stats.
Stats was big.
That was
pretty
see.
cool.
It's a nice stadium.
Yeah, again, I'd go back. I wouldn't sit where we sat, but I'd go back, and I don't. Again, you sit on the bench seating. You're sitting in your own chair. It's probably no big deal.
Field house and offices on the south side of the stadium. It's blocked in enough, double decked on both sides, that you get some real good echo. You get some good sound, even if there's not maybe completely full. So atmosphere wise, A+ for me.
Yeah, again, what bothered me, and again, was the sight line. I can't see the people down in the lower deck.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily know what's going on.
Well, a lot of it had to do with, like, the one thing I noticed, and we were commenting last night, that's a lot of concrete that was sitting right in front of us.
Yeah.
And I mean, understandably so, they had the LED sign that goes all across, and probably need that to support that thing. But I did feel like, I'm a big guy. I'm sure y'all can tell.
Camera does.
But I feel
10 pounds there, brother.
But I felt like I was sitting in a pit on that front row.
Yeah, the bucket seats.
I was like in a duck blind or something. Yeah.
A lot of confusion on the seats too, because the seats we sat in, and I took my stadium seat in,
thinking you were going to be on a
didn't need because they were regular seats, fold down seats, but it ends the fold down seats end in the reserve section and go into benches, which are still reserved.
Yep.
So it's like they didn't finish putting the chairs in.
It's those three sections, 13, 14, and 15, upper deck only, are reserve seating. Well, and you look at it and people think, oh, the reserve seats are the seat backs.
Right.
And then the bench seating is not. And I know there were some people that sat next to me down there that had to kick people out who weren't very happy. But they're like, these are reserve seats.
But there was numbers on the seats.
Yeah.
So they were truly reserved.
It was. But yeah, I mean, if you went online.
I was noticing that family was no longer there, and I went, oh, they were reserve seating.
They were. So it was interesting. But, you live and you learn. Pop goes the
Pop again.
So,
but one last thing from my perspective on the stadium, be classy about it. There's some things that were posted on Twitter last night. I'm like, really, grow up.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not an Allen Stadium. We built our stadium for what we wanted,
and it's not a competition.
And it's not a competition. They put together a stadium that they felt would fit their needs. And kudos to them. It's a gorgeous stadium.
And they're proud of it.
Absolutely, and they should be.
And that's the thing that some Allen faithful continually fail to understand is when we go somewhere else, it wasn't built for us.
Right.
And it's not going to fulfill all the needs of an Allen football fandom.
And when you put things out like some people did,
yeah, I mean, you're the face, quote unquote.
Especially some accounts,
the social media face of the Allen Eagles or the
Touchdown
Allen High
Club.
School, and you start criticizing stuff like that. It just doesn't look good. And I'm not going to get in a Twitter war with anybody about it,
especially if you send it to the McKinney ISD.
I'll have a little fun with it,
but it doesn't look good, and it's why people don't like Allen is because there's stuff like that floating around.
Snobby
out there.
people.
So,
go back up to Holland Park.
Yeah, go to the bubble.
That would be down.
Yeah, what? But it's you can say what you want to say without being ugly about it, and sure. There was one concession stand on our side of the field. Well,
one concession stand on their side of the field.
That's the way they felt it should be done.
Hey, look, in the bottom line for online.
Sorry you didn't get your food on time.
The bottom line for online is intent is so hard to say. You may just be funning and having fun.
But you're right. It's hard to determine.
Yep.
That's why I prefer to talk to people as opposed to texting them because you can tell, especially if you're going to be kidding around and stuff like that. But anyhow. Enough of that. Football game starts. Here we are, first quarter.
Boring.
Well, some fans might say, well, yeah, it was horrible coaching. Oh, why'd they call that play? Why'd they run that?
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the
because
table.
You're across the table for what
and then some people would say, oh, my God, did you see that lineman he missed his block? It's probably a combination, a little bit of a little bit of everything. But on just about every play, people saw
Where's your bet?
Things.
Where's your bet that you had?
Well, so that part. Where did it go? Oh my God!
I think it's on here.
Oh, is it?
We're on 5 games in a row for that bubble screen pass to be the first play.
So here's $20. I got $20.
If that's not the first play,
put it
$20.
Everybody can see it
Right here, right there. $20 if we don't throw a bubble screen or a swing pass. No, first quarter.
No, it's got to be the first play because it's been that play every game.
They threw it at least,
or the majority of the quarter,
at least
2 or 3 times.
In the first quarter, yeah.
And it's always the first play.
Charity of your choice, $20. I don't know if anybody else wants to kick in.
It does tend to be that way, and I don't know the mentality. And again, I'm not a coach.
Yep.
But
I don't know what they're
smart enough to see.
Well, these are just our opinions and our feelings. I would much rather have.
No, we're experts. Dang it!
All right. Well, from one expert to another, I would much rather see them do some plays that get things warmed up that are maybe a higher percentage. I don't know if they go in and look at the percentages.
Maybe
of
something
success.
that other teams aren't used to seeing us do.
Yeah, on the field.
You mean
Hey,
we've
by
done
the
that
way,
play before?
Their first play is going to be a bubble screen.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe that's used to set up something. Again, I'm not a coach, and we don't have access to the coaches.
That
and
play
we don't
is
talk
used
to the coaches.
to set up the fourth quarter.
But the one thing, and I went down to the restroom at halftime, and somebody came in, and I'll leave them nameless, and they
Please.
said, "Wow." They said, "I can't wait to hear what y'all have to say about that first quarter on your podcast." And I'm like, I said, I don't know what to say. I said, it's. My response
in the
was
actual urinal during this conversation.
It's bathroom
There
talk.
was a urinal separation.
There was a separation.
It's buddy talk.
That's right. I said it's hard to believe that it's 31-7 at halftime because it just didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, especially the first quarter. And Nolan and I sat next to each other. The one thing we saw, and we talked about, was East-West. So many plays started out East-West.
Your goal is down here. You don't go this way.
Yeah. And the poor kids, we had, what, I don't know, 500 yards, 562 yards of offense, and they probably ran 800 to get those 500.
Yeah.
Because there was so much East-West running.
Either scrambling, Grant was scrambling, or
the play call itself was going East-West. There were bubble screens. They were short. The running. It was sweeps. It was like, what's going on here?
I got another $20 if you run Elijah from the tight end on a slant and give Grant that immediate out.
We sit here and we talk this, and there's so many teams out there that would just
die
to be 31-7 at halftime.
Yep.
And here we're kind of complaining about it, a little bit.
But that is our job.
I know.
Well, but and you know what? It's the coaches' jobs too, because you know what? There were mistakes made, and there were mistakes made at every level. Like James was saying, the question is which one was it? Did the coaches
or
call
a little bit of both?
Was the game plan perfect? Probably not. Was the play calling perfect? Probably not. Was the execution perfect? No.
And it wasn't just one player.
Yeah.
No.
And so that's what we talk about. We're just saying, there were a lot of good things, and we'll get into that.
And we're being a little slappy here, but
we're spoiled.
That's true.
That's it.
Well,
just think if this was the McKinney podcast last night. if we're McKinney fans, what does it sound?
But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's maybe there was a little. We're overlooking our opponent from last night, that kind of thing. It was McKinney. They've had a rough time. They're going to have a rough season this year. Everybody knows it. Marcus has got his hands full over there at McKinney for some time. But still,
but
you should look better than what you look like in the first quarter. It was real. It was ugly. It was a lot of ugliness in there.
They were doing something last night that we did back in 2015, where we're moving quarterbacks in and out,
Yeah.
Trying to find out who's going to stick and who, what situation is going to be best.
Well, and let's set this up. This is Marcus Shavers, former Allen Eagle, Lubbock Estacado coach, came over, got the McKinney job.
All-American.
Yeah. So glad to have him in the mix.
Oh, and he wanted to be back close to home.
He's a kid motivator, and I think they played really hard for him.
Yeah.
They had some good success.
He was talent on that team. They've got some talent on that
fast
team.
kids.
And the people we talked to that were tailgating for McKinney had good things to say about Marcus too.
Compared to the previous
exactly
regime.
He mentioned that they had a player maybe concerned about, I'm not getting to play very much, and they told him, well, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
It's nothing I'm going to do. What are you going to do?
Yeah, the individual's got to take ownership.
How are you going to get to that starting position?
So as ugly as the first quarter was, which included a non-score. Well, the first drive ended in a field goal.
Yep.
Held McKinney. Second drive, I guess they got down to the 2-yard line, 4th and 2, and then
didn't go for it.
Didn't go for it, which stuck in my craw. But hey, who am I? But
and missed the field goal.
And then you miss a field goal when you're looking. It's like, dadgummit.
Yeah.
The offense does get going a little bit after that, and Bryson Green catches a touchdown pass. And it's his 5th one of the year.
How about that fake bump.
Oh, him and his brother.
That
when
night?
Blaine scored.
When Blaine caught his first touchdown of the year.
I don't know if anybody
Glad to
caught
have you
that.
back. The Green Machine is in full effect.
The Green brothers went to
and
jump
one
up
other
and
thing.
bump.
So, big brother Seth, playing up at Minnesota,
Yep.
came down as a surprise for the Twins. Kudos to Brian for pulling that off, and I know it hits the pocketbook, but it was great seeing Seth, and great for him to see Blaine and Bryson score.
Yeah.
And so tell us about what was the fake?
Yeah,
chest
well,
bump?
he scored the touchdown, and how they'll all run up to each other and
do the jump,
high bump,
jumping chest bump,
and they ran up and then stopped and
About
it was great.
It was awesome. It's good being twins, I guess. So yeah, congratulations to Blaine. That's his first touchdown of the year.
and it was smooth.
Yeah.
It looked like he'd been doing this for a while, so
Yeah.
good job.
Sherfield got on the action last night with a
did.
13-yard touchdown run. You look up at halftime, and like I said, it's 31-7. And again, I don't think any of us ever felt like this game was going to be close or it was going to be, competitive. I think you got to halftime, and you're like, okay, let's
even
just
when
see
it was
what
10-7, we didn't think it. I mean,
I
it
don't
wasn't
think anybody
good,
was
but
worried. No, because McKinney scored. Grant had a fumble on the 2-yard line. McKinney recovers, and
Boy, defense was mad when they scored too.
and that's I wanted to bring that up on that play too, because I watched the replay on the big screen. Jernigan had a chance to catch the running back. He dove at him and missed him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when they scored on that play, when they came over to the sideline,
Some people are just self-motivated and hold themselves to a higher
and I
standard.
hit Nolan and I said, "Look at Jernigan
He's over there doing push-ups on his own.
doing push-ups because he missed a tackle." And I'm like, kudos to him for being a leader. Not being too big for your britches to get down there and realize, hey, I missed a tackle. And it is. It's a team. That's being a leader and showing the rest of the guys, hey,
Yeah, because
we
when
need to be
you
better.
get mad at the late team or late game players for letting them score when you held them scoreless, but then you pull that.
Yeah.
Doing those push-ups
and
shows
again,
them.
the offense put that defense in that position.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
anything that they didn't. McKinney didn't drive on them to get down there. So,
Well, and that's
Again,
that's how critical ball safety is
Yeah.
and ball protection that you can really put your team in a
again,
bad spot.
the only turnover of the night, and that was it. And it led to 7. But it didn't hurt them in the long run. But
Yeah.
the second touchdown, the first team defense has given up all year. So we're 5 games in, and they've given up 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely superb.
You can't say anything but kudos to Kane and those kids again for.
And what was great, Grant's up in the mid-70% in his passing. So, as much as people might try and criticize holding the ball too much or whatever, he's 20 for 27 last night,
Yeah,
which is
4 touchdowns.
fantastic.
Speaking of which, third quarter, I guess it was third quarter, probably a highlight reel touchdown for Theo.
Yeah.
Theo had a great third quarter.
Yeah,
Actually, it might have been the second quarter. I don't know, second or
priceless.
third quarter on his stop move.
yeah,
There were some shoes left on the field.
I think that
with
was-
some
I think that
ankle
was third
sprains.
quarter.
Man, that was a jock. That
Yeah,
wasn't
it was.
shoes.
That was. The kid is just unreal. It's fun to watch guys who have that much talent use it. And he danced for a second, and he did that drop step stop, and people are flying by him. There he goes. You're like, but his
I think he waved at him when
he
he
might
went by.
have. The touchdown catch was incredible because the DB was like riding piggyback on him. In the end zone.
Had him wrapped up.
There was a pass
was on
interference
top
call.
of him.
I don't know how he caught the ball, and I
Yeah.
watched the replay, and I'm like, I still don't know how he caught the ball, but he did, and highlight reel for him. So, kudos to Theo for doing his thing.
Makes you wonder who he's going to commit to.
He's gonna flip, aren't you, Theo? You're gonna flip.
He's going to flip to Arkansas
Woo
State.
pig!
That'd be funny.
Oh, that'd be awful.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awful.
Awesome.
That'd be wasted talent.
So then we
Get your
get
guns
into
up.
the
Come on, Red Raiders.
late third, fourth quarter, and we get
Who'd
to
be the new coach over there?
see more of Raylan Sharp.
See more butts.
And the more I
Wow.
see of that kid,
His passing is just really crisp.
Dude,
It's
he
nice
is
to see. He's
crisp.
speed.
It's a good way of
That
putting it.
little
Very crisp.
side, it's like he's turning 2.
Yeah.
It's shortstop. I mean, that will flip, and it's just like a bullet.
it's incredible to watch him play. I really enjoy. I'd sit back and I sat up so I could see, but
A little Kyler-ish.
You know, it's a little different. I don't think he's as quick.
Oh, sorry.
He's not as quick as Kyler to me.
It's not on the island.
But he's just so stinking fast.
Yeah.
And you can watch, especially, we sit up high, so you can see the angles that these kids have on him when he starts running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can just say, they ain't going to get him. They think they're going to get him. And, he got horse-collared.
Got a really long run, horse-collared right before the end
Called
zone.
back by a hole, but he got horse-collared, but it was just to watch him. He glides. It's his track speed. He runs track. And it's just cool to see him take off. You're like, love the kid.
Well, so you guys had some discussions. Was he one of the fastest kids on the team?
Yeah, we had the receivers came out here and had dinner Thursday night, and so I just asked the boys who was the fastest on the team, and he was one of the three that they mentioned. Juwan Mason and him, and I just went totally blank.
What's his name?
Cade Norman.
Cade Norman?
Yeah, number 6.
Number 6.
Yeah, the corner.
Right.
Who they said was probably one of those three.
The speed squads. If you want to refute that, please feel free to join in. Refute that.
We're not running relay.
Hey, talking about a guy who runs a 7.240. I mean,
well, I thought Seth Mason ran a 7.240 the way he was in the backfield last night before the ball was handed off.
It was like, was he in the huddle too? I mean, because he was
swear.
there.
I mean, it was just like the sea parted and he walked right in there.
And what's Seth's number? Tell him the number. 93?
93.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The defense played very well, and again, I was tracking this because the stats were on the board. You could see McKinney didn't get 100 yards in total offense until like 10 minutes and 53 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and the defense played so well. Who got that fumble? Fumble recovery, and they had a campfire on the sidelines.
That was great.
I don't remember him recovering it, but that was so cool. For those of you who didn't see it, and again, I don't know who carried the ball over there. He went to the sideline, and they spun the ball.
Tried
the first time it didn't work, and so they did it again. They spun it, and then they all went up to it and put their hands around it like it was a fire getting warm. It was pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Defenses like that fun, too.
And it was fun because Kane was right in the middle of it with them, so that was...
Corey Kane, master...
Just stop. Just stop.
That's why I did stop, Nolan.
But yeah, they had fun with it, and it's good to have that turnover, and it led to points. And again, an overall solid game.
Yeah.
You ended up giving up 171 total yards, but again, you didn't reach 100 until the fourth quarter. You gave up 14 points. You scored 54. I mean, you're 5-0. You're 2-0 in district.
Let's be honest. We're sitting here getting picky about all these things just because we're
fans.
We're fans, and we're trying to come up with material for this podcast that all 15 of you all watch.
Well,
and so
we're up to 15.
I think so.
Well, half of those are us.
So, but I mean, yeah. Let's be honest. We are playing well. We are enjoying obviously this team. I still think this team has got more talent than last year's team.
And that's funny. Thad sent me a text last night since he went here, and it's the one thing he said. He goes, "Well, this offense may have more playmakers than any other team we've ever seen."
Yeah.
Brycing being very complimentary to Theo will really pose opposing defenses a lot of problems moving forward because you can't really provide double coverage over the top and still be involved in stopping the run. Something to that effect. So.
Can you imagine having the Green Twins for another 2 years?
Yeah, I can.
Wait, let me think about that.
We'll think about that real quick. Yeah, I can imagine.
Think about writing it down.
No,
and so the thing for me is they faced enough adversity, whether it was self-induced or whether it was the other team pushing them, that it's going to make them better when they get into the more challenging games like the Plano East game, which somebody was asking for.
We'll get into that. Let's go around the district right now. And Plano struggled. I'm just going to say.
Wait, I want to do a shout out.
Well, all right, do your shout out
to the McKinney High School equipment manager over there, who was having a hell of a game with number 92 on their defensive line.
That poor kid. I don't know if his melon was just that big. They didn't have a helmet big. How many times did the helmet come off?
5 times. Wow. 5 or 6.
The poor kid missed a bunch of plays because he couldn't keep his helmet on. Now, I don't know if one of our guys kept ripping it off, but,
Duct tape.
Something.
Duct tape. Yeah, duct tape is the way to go.
Yeah, he was having
all the way around his chin.
Brutal. So Plano West, 28-14 Plano wins.
And it was
tied.
It was tied for the longest time.
Yeah, tied at halftime. Plano scores in the third and fourth quarters.
I wonder if the Plano East fans were chanting, "We won Allen."
They didn't win, so probably not. But
Plano West or East?
East.
Plano
West.
I said West, didn't I?
You said East.
Oh, sorry.
Here's an interesting stat, and I don't know why this is. I'm just looking at the paper
For
here.
the Plano West game?
Yeah, Kyron Cumby, 11 carries, 12 yards.
Wow.
Now,
That is a shocker.
Cody Christ, who didn't play that much running back, he played a lot of defensive back for Plano against us. He had 18 carries for 129.
Do you think they stacked the box or not?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Kyron. Why 11 carries, 12 yards doesn't seem right. He was averaging 13 yards a carry before the Allen game.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what happened over there, but something's going on there. But he did have 10 catches, so maybe they're putting him out. They might be using him more as a receiver.
Sure.
But
Because he's not a bruising running back. He's not one of those guys that's going to pound it up the middle and make yards.
Yeah, Plano beats West to go to 1-1 in district, and of course West is 0-2. And I anticipate, I was going to say them and Boyd being the cellar dwellers, but Boyd,
They're going to have a chance to beat Boyd. And
Boyd jumps up last night and smacks around Jesuit for a half, and then hangs on and wins 35-28.
Good for them.
Which I was giving Jesuit a little bit more credit than that, or more capability than that. But okay.
We were always, Jesuit is always, they've got a decent offense, but they've never had a defense.
It's Boyd.
Well,
Boyd sits undefeated in district at 1-0. They had a bye last week.
Doom.
So good for them, 1-0, and Jesuit is now 0-1 in district as well. And then the other game that everybody seemed to be really interested in, there was a lot of chatter about, was Plano East and Prosper.
Yep. Prosper's been racking up some scores.
Yeah, moving up to 6A and jumping in the district, and everybody's wondering, okay, how are they going to?
Well, Plano East scored in the first and second quarter, then did not score the rest of the game.
Right. It's 26-14 was the final, and that's the one thing that I look at and go,
And they're talking about, Plano East has got this great defense. What looks like Prosper had a pretty good defense to hold them to nothing the second half.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, and I don't know what the final. What's the
26-14?
Yeah, what were the final yardage stats? Just out of curiosity, add that up real quick. Well,
yardage
minus 30.
Rushing yards. Prosper was 29 for 96, and Plano East 26 for 119.
Okay,
pretty even.
Passing. 156 for Prosper, 303 for Plano.
Yeah, East. And congrats to Plano East getting to 5-0 for the year. And
way to go, Joey.
As Nolan said at the end of the game last night, there was some chatter.
A little bit of chatter on the
now
Twitter.
Professor Diggs would like to say differently, but
he's a homer.
Evidently, the student section or somebody was chanting, "We want Allen," and guess what? You got us, because
careful what you wish for.
They're next on your list.
Yeah, we're going to take a week off to heal.
So
there is a mute button on these phones.
Well, we're waiting. Allen might call in. So
yeah,
but so Plano East says they want Allen, and by golly, they're going to get him in 2 weeks. It'll be interesting to see if the chatter picks up on social media, because these kids tend to want to talk a bunch.
One thing that stands out on that game last night is Plano East had 14 penalties for 137 yards.
I showed Nolan that at halftime. There were 18 penalties at halftime.
At halftime.
By both
total.
Yeah,
wow.
By both teams. And I was like, that will kill you against Allen.
Well, and I tell you, the kids had a good game this game, because it was 4 for 35.
Because I knew that it was low.
Yeah, 4 for 35. So good job, Allen, and good job. I don't know which the penalties were. Did we offensive line have any penalties?
Well, there was
holding.
One holding.
I know the holding call. Right. Well, there were two holding calls. Tay got a holding call on a run, and then Raylan's long run had a holding call.
Yeah,
there was a face mask too, wasn't there?
It was on them.
No, I know they had one. I thought we had one too, though.
I don't know. Anyway, but 4 for 35.
Yeah,
that's good. If you can keep it under 5 or under, that's going to be.
The face mask was in the second half. It was one of the rotations. I forget which player it was, but he was on defense on the left defensive end, maybe.
Oh, somebody's getting called out. But either way, 4 for 35 is good. You live with 4 penalties.
Yeah.
You'd like to have 2.
You don't want to have any, but
No, and no critical ones. But yeah, how many Plano? 14. Plano East had 14 penalties.
14 penalties.
Dude, that'll
for 137 yards.
Yeah.
You can't count, and you can't count on them doing that either.
No,
so.
But that's a trend with them.
Prosper had 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like it might have been a little chippy.
And then,
well, yeah, you also don't have control over the crew, and the crew might be flag happy.
It was at Kimbrough.
Yeah.
And East had 2 fumbles and recovered lost one of them.
Well, they can say all they want. Like like Nolan says, you got to be careful what you ask for because it's on the schedule. You know you're going to play them, and
there's already bulletin board material.
And dear student section, leave your laser pointers at home, will you?
I don't think we've had that since then. But that's next up for the Eagles in 2 weeks. So we don't have a game Friday night.
No, we don't.
But we do have a game Friday
Yes,
night.
we did.
Yes, we do.
We have been invited.
We'll be traveling.
We're going to travel to the wonderful town
Rockwall,
Texas.
Well, there's the traveling Wilburys. Maybe we can be the traveling Dingleberries.
Gross.
What?
I'm done.
Is that all it takes?
Scared him off.
They're that the first 2 minutes.
We ain't scared.
We're going to travel over to Rockwall to watch Rockwall Heath host the, I guess, 3-1 because the one game didn't count.
3-1.
Mighty Mesquite.
Let that sink in.
Mesquite Skeeters
Had a heck of a game last night against Mesquite Horn.
How about that?
Yeah, Tepper's favorite team, I hear.
Who? Mesquite?
Yeah.
Or Horn?
No, Mesquite.
No, he was
wearing the T-shirt.
He was touting them up.
In my own mind, this week when the rankings came out, the sports team rankings came out, and they still had Horn ranked in the top 20, 0-4. And I know they played 4 tough teams, but I'm like, you lose 4 games, and you
can't be there.
So I was doubting how good they are to begin with, and don't take this. There's nothing taken away from Mesquite because I know Jeff's got those guys. Second year in the program.
He's ringing the towel. He's getting everything out of them.
And congratulations, they went on a field goal in the last minute or final.
Second, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's clutch.
It just his final minute. They win 20-17. So we're going to head over to Rockwall, Lord willing, and watch Mesquite play Rockwall Heath.
Well, Horn was barely hanging on at 19.
Yeah, I knew they were late. So they drop out. They'll drop out this time. So, and the good thing about that, Horn scored the touchdown to tie the game with 1:03 left.
Wow.
And so Mesquite had to
drive enough to get that field goal. Yeah. How long was it?
42 yards.
Good job. Way to go, special teams.
Yeah, they did their job well. So that's where we'll be Friday night. I don't know where everybody else is hanging out, but catch a game, with teams you don't get to talk about. And we'll go from there.
They're actually so comfortable of us coming over, they're putting us with the coaches' wives.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll see. They may change their mind before we get to that.
That's probably for our safety.
Yeah. Couple shout-outs we want to give real quick. We were sitting at our tailgate yesterday over there in McKinney, and
nice people.
The gentleman from McKinney came across the way.
Right. One of the fathers of a cheerleader.
Yeah. Man, I feel bad because I can't remember his name.
Was it Brian?
It was Brian, yes. Yeah. Brian comes over, just meet and greet, says hello, and so Dave and I and James decide half an hour later, we're just going to go over there because they start setting up. They're actually tailgating. I'm like, no way. So we go over, and we drive over there and
introduce ourselves. And
we find out that the cheerleader booster club and the tunnel crew booster club are starting their own tailgate tradition, and they haven't done it previously.
Right.
And so they're side by side, and they're trying to get that started. And they were like, "We want to come over to your tailgate."
They were fired up.
We want to get ideas. What do y'all do? This, that, and the other. And I'm like, fine. Come on, jump on. It's the first thing it needs a golf cart, so you don't have to walk. So we piled a couple of the cheerleader moms on the golf cart with the 3 of us, and brought them back over. And great people, Christy and I can't remember names.
Elena
came over, and
apologies.
They were taking pictures and talking. How do y'all do this? Just looking for ideas on how to make their tailgate more improved and how to get more people
how to get the best out of the experience.
Yeah, what they can do. And
they need to get Eagle fan license plates.
Yeah, exactly. So they notice that. See,
it's tough for them. For us, we've just got the one school, so we've got the consolidation to get a history. With them, they got 3 schools, and each school's got to build their own history with their own alumni and keep them involved. So good luck with that.
Yeah, but it was cool for them to come over. And then some of the tunnel crew actually drove up shortly after that and came over and picked over. And one of them was a football dad, and he was good to talk to. And so they spent
enjoyed talking to
15 or 20 minutes with us. And
they were great people, nice people.
Kudos to them for trying to start that tradition.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with it.
Hopefully you'll have more fans show up and get with you, and because you have the facility to do it now.
But I gotta say, McKinney putting together a designated tailgate section is a genius idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I wonder if we could learn anything from them.
You know, the good thing about that and how excited they were is, and the way tailgating should be is bringing community together.
Yeah.
And I think, I mentioned, hey, y'all get going, and then when on down the road when you're playing at our stadium, y'all come tailgate with us.
Yep.
And when we come over there, we'll come tailgate with y'all. And that's what it's all about. Getting it as big as possible.
We learned a lot from those people, just about the coach and what's going on with the program and how they do things.
They think very highly of Marcus, which we knew they probably would.
Sure.
He's bringing a whole new mindset to those kids, which is fantastic for that program. It needs it.
So kudos to them for showing some school spirit, for just support. And you know what? The players notice it, and I do that. And I got a little angry last night because I get tired of this happening over and over and over again. When we sing the fight song, when the band is in transition, I get tired of football parents, and I'll just call them out. Football parents turn around just looking at us like,
what?
And just smiling.
We're supporting your kids. That's what we're doing. And you know what? Those kids hear that. And you know what? They tell us they hear that, and they appreciate it because they know you're there. Mm-hmm. And so rather than turn around and look at us like we're a bunch of numbskulls, which we may be, and that's fine.
I don't mind that at all.
But we're doing that to support your kids. So it's okay for you to do it. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's not embarrassing.
No.
That goes for all the things.
And it wasn't even us that started it. It was the 3 ladies sitting behind us.
Oh,
they were on top of it before we were. Yeah, they were awesome last night. But,
they started from hearing us do it for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's where it came from. But they knew what to do, and
contagious.
They were like, "Oh, looky there!" But people started saying, "Look up at you." Like,
what are they doing
up there? It's
and band
drives me insane.
What are they doing up there?
Yeah. There's no reason everybody on that sideline
should not be doing it. Everybody does the kickoff. Allen Eagles, fight!
Well, it's okay, and the kids love it. So.
We'll just encourage them. Come on, don't just look up there. Start singing.
Yeah.
Sing the fight song. If you don't know it, listen, learn it.
Ain't that hard?
Well, it's not dun.
So anyhow, but that's a whole other rant that I will go on for years. But
kids get some rest next week, bye week, as we said.
One thing Thad texted too, and I know Alan or Nolan, we mentioned it last night. Alan gets accused of recruiting.
What?
Constantly.
What?
Yeah, I know. And by golly, we're going to recruit because we found a stadium announcer we want.
Dude, that PA guy was top notch.
Spot on all night long. That dude, and we need to find out who it is and shoot some kudos.
And speaking of spot on, his spotters, that's the other side of it, the less heard of side, but good job for those guys. Feeding him the info.
That's great, but I mean, he was clear, and he was really precise. No screw ups with
pronounces it right.
Names,
no markers, or where it was,
or
calling one kid a completely different name than what they're.
Calling the 20-yard line when it was on the 35.
Whoever you are, and we're going to find out because
kudos to you.
We like what
awesome
you're doing. Good job. And that might have been the best part of the stadium.
I actually enjoyed listening to his his play-by-play on during the game.
Well, and
unlike when we're home.
you know, whoever would score within 30 seconds, it'd be like 10-play drive, 73 yards, capped off by that. And I'm like, man, it sounds just like somebody on TV. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
So
real good.
When that goes along with the stats on the scoreboard that are on the LED.
Yeah, I got $20 more if that guy wants to come down.
Wow.
We'll start there.
Might have to
Please.
entice you.
I got a couple bucks.
We can start a GoFundMe page. That guy was
I got
great.
$1.
He's the best I've heard in a long time. So kudos to him. So what else?
Well, we're going to have a special guest for the Off Week podcast.
You
We
know-
won't tell about who it is.
We're not going to tell, but you know what? I encourage everybody to tune in next week, and this is going
All
to cover.
15 of you.
Well, this one will cover a broader fan base.
Yes.
Might be a little broader.
Yeah,
And
but they're only going to listen for half of it.
Well, that's okay.
There's your clue, folks.
Boy.
There's your clue. But it'll be the football parents that only live
Call out
for half of
today.
it.
What? Yeah, they'll be walking out halfway through.
No, that's not true. But no, we've got a guest lined up. It's going to be fun. It'll be informative too, because this is delving into an area that
We'll get some inside scoop on some things.
that people don't get answers to.
Right.
And so we're excited about it. We'll announce later in the week who that'll be. Just
Announce? How are we going to announce that?
I'll put it out. I'll do a short podcast.
I'll put it out. Tweet.
We'll do a 30-second podcast saying, look who's going to be here next week. But that's going to be fun. Since we won't have an Allen
That'd
game to
be
talk
number 33
33 and a half.
B.
about.
33
Yeah,
and a half.
the short one, yeah. I'll do that. I should have done it yesterday because I was with the individual. We could have just done a short
Real
video
quick one?
clip. And,
Yeah.
that's a good
Screwed
idea.
up on that one, didn't you?
I may go back up there and do that.
Give him a call.
Give me a go. Call
I don't
it.
think anybody will hear
Dare you.
So, 5-0, number one in the state,
Go Eagles.
looking good. Defense is playing great. Offense is scoring points. Coaches are coaching. Kids are getting better. Pretty healthy. We've had, Henry's out for the year, which we knew, and
Selden took the night off.
he did take the night off to rest up for East, so he ought to be good, ready to go. And Grant,
Like I said,
Good.
be careful what you wish for.
that ain't no lie. So, anything else, fellas?
That's
the rain,
it.
go away. It's
Good.
raining again
Yeah.
this morning.
Perfect weather.
Good weather last night for a football
Oh, it
game.
was
Loved it.
fantastic weather
So,
last night.
thank you, Lord, for not blessing us with a fourth week in a
My
row.
knees,
of
my
rain.
knees would have really enjoyed feeling the breeze, but all that concrete kind of.
I think it was all the heft to the left. of
Well,
it
that yeah.
that kept you from getting a breeze there, brother.
And the breezes we were getting.
That was your own breeze.
That's Brandon Weber's fault. For feeding us all
Oh,
that
yes. Thank you,
sausage.
Brandon,
Yeah,
for
thank you, Brandon.
Peppers, brother.
Oh, those
Peppers.
were awesome.
Great. So, anyhow. Enjoy your Saturdays, fella. Big game. OU Baylor. Let's go, Kyler. Let's see what he can do.
Woo Pig.
Woo Pig Suey down at College
Yeah.
Station.
No,
May they
at
win
Cowboy
another game.
Station.
Oh,
Cowboy
they're playing
Stadium.
here. That's right. Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Hey, we're just getting through this season, waiting for next season.
Well, bless your heart, brother.
Second-
I
second
hope
heart
you're
gets some
alive
talent.
when it
Yeah,
rolls
me
around.
too.
So, till next time, folks, it's over and we're out.